The good thing when you look at the record of Kinoshita and you're trying to figure out what kind of match it's going to be, you say, hey, his only loss was for the world title. The bad news, that only loss was to a southpaw.
Southpaw versus southpaw matchup, as you have noted. Since then, Teddy, he has won 6 straight fights since that world title fight. 3 straight by Kinoshita have come by knockout.
Teddy, I have to mention that, you know, I know you're not a big component on body structure, but look at Ancajas' legs. Look how big his legs are. He just looks like a fighter. Big old legs for a young guy, 115 pounds.
And you know, that would fit right in, and you're right. You're reading it right. It's like reading a road map. You know exactly where you're going when you look at that. Somewhere along the line, you figure that he's going to be going forward, using those strong legs for a strong attack on the inside.
I can tell that Timothy Bradley's been hanging out with you a long time, Teddy Atlas, because he's got that eye. Because I would offer this, guys, if I told the guy on the street that Ancajas weighs 114 pounds, I mean, look at that physical makeup at 114.
He looks good.
They wouldn't believe it.
He looks great. He looks like a champion.
Ancajas in the red trunks, the challenger, the Japanese fighter Kinoshita in the dazzling rhinestone silver and white.
Kinoshita doesn't have those legs, but he's taller. He's a little longer. But does he know how to fight tall? Does he know how to fight long? Right now, he's the one moving forward. For me, again, to Tim's point, you look at those legs and Ancajas, you don't want to be going inside of your Kinoshita. You want to use the outside. You want to use those long arms that reach. And you want to be able to control that range where it might be a little safer for you and advantageous for you, where you can catch Ancajas before he gets into the area that he can catch you.
Well, just for a moment, I think he might have had an earpiece in his ear, because he stepped back and he's starting to try to control the distance with his jab, meaning Kinoshita right now, but now he's moving inside again.
One of the reasons why he might be tempted, even though his physical assets are to be on the outside, he's the bigger guy. Turned pro 116, fought as high as 123, while Ancajas turned pro 109, never been above 118. And his last 2 fights for Ancajas were at 114, while Kinoshita has been 118 and 123 his last 2 fights. So going in, Kinoshita might feel like the bigger guy.
Yes.
And want to go forward when he really shouldn't go forward.
Ancajas firing off a couple lead right hooks. He's doubled up that jab a few times in the final minute here of round number 1. Tried to drive down a straight left hand, was just off the mark. Scores here at the end. The IBF Junior Bantamweight title.
Spider-Man.
Joe Tessitore, Teddy Atlas, Timothy Bradley, the former recent world champion, with you ringside here in Brisbane, Australia. Sunday afternoon here in Aussie land, and of course a big night back stateside as we will work our way to see Manny Pacquiao. Right now, the first fighter that Manny Pacquiao has ever promoted to win a world championship in the ring. Round 2 between Jerwin Ancajas in the red, the champion, and Teiru Kinoshita, the challenger.
First time fighting outside of Japan for Kinoshita. And all but 4 fights for Ancajas have been in the Philippines. The others have been in China.
Well, I know that first round was definitely a fill-out round, but Ancajas came out attacking straight to Kinoshita's body. You know, the first round always been the fill-out round. The second round they'll pick up. I think the third round will be even better if it goes that long.
You know, you have to have certain kind of preparation when you're getting ready for these high-level fights. I look at Kinoshita's record. Yeah, he fought for a world title, his only loss, but his latest opponents have not prepared him for what's in the ring with him tonight. Stepping way up in competition compared to what he has been fighting recently. Records of Kinoshita's last 3 opponents are 0-9.
Yeah, those were get-well remedy opponents, weren't they, Teddy?
Yeah, definitely were, Joe. The problem with it...
Oh, there's a cut. There's a cut now over the right eye of the Japanese challenger, Kinoshita.
Yeah, right in the corner. Both these guys have been involved in head clashes. Kinoshita, 2 technical wins and a technical draw. And for Ancajas, he's been involved in a technical draw from a head clash. So if we see red, and we're starting to see a little red, nothing unusual for these two guys. They are billy goats. They get in there with their domes.
Well, Ancajas is getting in a few body shots in there, and they're starting to slow Kinoshita down.
And you can see the blood is starting to become significant. It is dripping into that right eye. And the referee, Masalides, is going to take a timeout for the doctor, the ringside physician, Dr. Ben Mannion.
Okay, it's just on the side.
Small. He's got a little slack over the leg.
Now, Joe, was that because of a head clash? Or
We're
was
going to
that
find out for you, Timmy.
Time.
We'll get the official ruling on that from the ringside commission.
The way these guys
Good
fight,
exchange on the inside, Teddy.
yeah, the way these guys fight with their heads, I can almost answer Timmy's question for him. It's probably a head clash.
Probably is. Let's see what they rule it here, because that could be significant if we do get a stoppage prior to 4 rounds being complete. So mark it down here in round number 2, the cut over the eye. Ignatius, was it caused by a clash or a punch? And he said clearly a punch. So score 1 for Ancajas. So if the fight ends because of that cut, which right now they're in good shape, it would be a victory for Ancajas by TKO.
Yeah, take that with a grain of straw or a grain of salt, you fans out there, when a referee tells you clearly by a punch.
That's referee speak, not our speak.
That sure is. Because I can guarantee you he's not 100% sure it was from a punch. Both those heads came in really close. Very hard to decipher whether it was a head or a punch. That's why I never understand why my sport, the sport of boxing, doesn't use instant replay in those kind of situations. And every other sport does.
Especially in world championship fights.
Some commissions do. Unified rules, and here in Australia, absolutely not. There's a long left hand from Ancajas.
Power punch for Ancajas with those strong legs Timmy talked about. The left hand. The power punch for the southpaw where he can turn into it. Starting to find a home against Kinoshita with that punch.
Kinoshita trying to back out of range of the left hand to the body. Now they come in and tie up. Nearly a clash of heads again.
I always thought that fighting against an orthodox fighter versus a southpaw, the heads would clash, but I never really thought that, you know, fighting another southpaw, your heads will clash.
It depends on the style, Tim. You know that. You know, you got two guys that get a little head heavy, a little top heavy. They come in there like that. Their heads lean forward from the waist. They look to engage. Even though you got a taller guy in Kinoshita, he doesn't fight tall. So when you got that kind of attitude, that kind of style, chance that heads are going to bang together.
Power punches, you see the numbers being tallied by CompuBox right now, and Ancajas with a 26-6 edge, landing 36% of his power punches, is the champ.
He's finding a home for that straight left. Kinoshita just keeps stepping back, straight in a straight line.
Good combination that time, too, by the Filipino.
Again, the problem with Kinoshita, doesn't know how to fight tall, doesn't know how to use those God-given physical assets of length and height. He wants to walk forward to do his work, not being allowed to do that with Ancajas right now.
Coming to the end of round number 3, working our way towards Manny Pacquiao. His youngsters in good shape early. Well, this Suncorp Stadium that is home to brutal clashes in rugby, including the great rivalry, the State of Origin series, had a clash here in the second round. The referee claims it was the fist to the brow of Ancajas to Kinoshita, and that is the cut you see against the Japanese title challenger. As in the red is Jerwin Ancajas, sensational-looking 25-year-old world champion from the Philippines.
When is taller, longer not an advantage? When you give up that height by going inside or allowing your opponent to get inside, as Kinoshita does, and then actually it becomes a vulnerability, because if you're taller, it means you got a long, skinny body to attack. And Ancajas starting to zero in on that long, skinny body.
Tim, blood is streaming down the side of the face of Kinoshita. How much does that cut concern you?
It could concern me because the blood drips down into your eye and it kind of blurs your vision a little bit. And you know, right now it's not bothering him. He's not actually going for it and trying to rub his eye and try to get the blood out of his eye. But it does bother you. I just love Ancajas' style. I love his style. I love his demeanor. I love the fact that, you know, he's right in front of him. He's shooting his jab, landing a straight left hand at times, going down to the body. He just looks so mature as a pro.
I know what you like also. He's more dimensional,
yes,
than Kinoshita, who's one-dimensional right now.
That is such a great way to describe him. He really is versatile, Teddy.
Yeah, he is. He has all different dimensions to him. He can go get you, get in those trenches with you, but he can box a little bit, give you angles, step out, create counterpunch opportunities. And Ancajas is giving really a textbook lesson of ways to deal with a taller guy. You don't always have to come forward. You can step back a little bit and fight the taller guy, give up his height, come to you. And Ancajas has been doing both those things. He's been coming forward, he's been stepping back, he's been getting Kinoshita to do just what he wants him to do.
Okay, no holding, okay? No holding. Box.
The geography of the ring, we talk about all the time, Tim.
Yeah.
So important. Be where you want to be, where you have an advantage. Right now, Ancajas has control over the geography of the ring. He wants to be close, he gets close.
Good body work that time from the champion. Almost clipped him with the left hand coming in the side door and then was able to touch him to the body. As he has controlled the early goings of this title fight here in Brisbane, Australia.
Pause to cut. I'm not positive that it did. I'm wondering if an elbow didn't clip him there, because as he went over top with that left hand, that elbow followed. So I'm not positive it was a punch, but you know what? What I think does not matter. All that matters is the referee said it's from a punch, and that's what it is.
That was the second round earlier in this world title fight, as Jerwin Ancajas was able to open up that cut over the right eye of Teiru Kinoshita. Round number 5 here on a sun-baked Sunday afternoon here in Australia, as they are fighting here in the middle of the day so that Manny Pacquiao can come to everybody back stateside on a Saturday night. And we hope you're enjoying it. It has been over 12 years since Manny Pacquiao has been on a non-pay-per-view, and he has spent so much time this week talking about giving back to the sport, giving to the fans, and the changing business model of boxing, of getting away from the premium cable and the shelter of pay-per-view, of exposing the next generation of stars. And that is the case here, as we are getting a good look at Jerwin Ancajas, very capable 25-year-old in the red.
If you're facing the wrong way in this ring with the sun, the bright sun out now, you could get blinded. The good news for Kinoshita is that he doesn't have to worry about the sun getting in his right eye. The bad news is nothing can get in that right eye. He can't see anything. It's closing.
You know, it's interesting you make that point about the angle of the sun right now, Teddy, because it's only unique to settings like this. Obviously, you got to be fighting outdoor and you got to be fighting at the right time of day. But the angle they're at right now, where Kinoshita is facing, if he looks at a certain point, he would be facing right into the direct angle of the sun. And you never know in this sport. All it takes is a split second and you're defensively flawed.
Absolutely true. And especially for Kinoshita, as we said, already his vision in one eye is impaired. I would say that 70% of that vision is gone. And then you add the sun to it, oh, you got a problem.
Yeah, but right now, Kinoshita's having a good round right now. He landed 2 big right hands over the top on Ancajas and another body shot there. And he has Ancajas kind of stunned right now.
That left hand to the body was some of the most solid work we have seen to the body out of the Japanese challenger. So a better round from Kinoshita. Fought for a world title just a few years ago, and now another chance.
Kinoshita having a little better round, as Tim said. I don't think that Ancajas is stunned, but Kinoshita doing it on the outside, as Timmy said, using those longer arms, although he came in there and ate something.
Yep.
Joe, Teddy, and Timmy back with you here in Brisbane, Australia for round 6 of our IBF Junior Bantamweight title fight. As soon as this is done, we will ramp up with Manny Pacquiao and Jeff Horn as Pacquiao looks for the 60th win of his scorecard as it stands right now. That cut opened up in the second round. I was talking to the translator for Kinoshita, Lauren Goodman, who for some reason is wearing a Hartford Whalers hat to my left, all the way here in Australia. And Lauren said, in listening into the corner, he said, it's not that it's deep, but it is starting to swell a little bit. That they feel the cut itself is not a problem, but they will monitor the swelling.
You know, guys, it's really hot out here. It is really hot out here.
And the impact that can have inside the ring,
oh, my goodness. It can be detrimental to your conditioning. If you somewhat even struggle making weight just a little bit, you're going to feel it in your legs in there because it is so hot in there already because you're up against an opponent.
I want to revisit that when we get to the main event and Jeff Horn because he was still cutting weight as of the past couple days. By the way, Teddy, since the cut, there's a good short right hand on the inside, a 48-20 connect advantage for the champion Ancajas since the cut.
Little advantage. We talked about it, you know, and there was a good shot over the top by Ancajas. It's tough enough to be in that ring at 100%. But when you're in that ring and you're impaired with one of your eyes closed to the percentage that Kinoshita's eye is closed, makes it harder to negotiate those punches, obviously.
Well, he can't see anything out of that eye. He's fighting with one eye right now.
Yeah, you can see a little bit, but you're right, he diminished tremendously.
Oh, there's a sharp driving left hand, and now a boost of confidence for a moment for Kinoshita. Hand sweeping with that.
We know how fast you are. We know you won 5 world titles, but it's about how smart you are, too. That's how you were able to win those titles. If you're in there right now with a guy with his eye closed to the extent that it is, what are you doing? You attacking that side a little more?
I'm going to attack that side a little bit more because guess what? He can't see out of that eye. Eventually, I'm going to get that eye closed.
Coming to the halfway point of our world title fight. Stay with us. Named the Hornet, the improbable title challenger who's going to see if he can be a real-life Rocky. It is our main event. The welterweight championship of the world, Pacquiao and Horn, is coming up after this world title fight, round number 7.
Kinoshita's corner did something very well in there. They kind of shielded his eye and blocked his eye, putting ice on his eye, and wouldn't allow the referee to get in there to get a peek at it. But his eye is almost closed.
Too little, too late with that ice. You know you have to get on those eyes early. Once that swelling starts, you have to hit it with the end swell, which is that lump of metal that you keep in the ice bucket. It gets very cold, and you apply it to the swelling. But it's kind of like being a gardener. It's like getting weeds out. You can't wait till the weeds are choking your bushes. You gotta pull those weeds before they get to that point. You gotta hit that swelling before it gets to a dangerous point.
There are the CompuBox numbers. You see 107 total punches landed for the champion Ancajas to 39 for Kinoshita. An excellent body work by the Filipino through 6. 45 of his 107 punches landed are body shots.
Again, able to do more things. For the most part, Kinoshita, again, he's got the equipment to fight on the outside, not the mentality, not the discipline to stay outside all the time. And Ancajas can do more things. He can go get you, as he's doing right now.
Good body
shot.
To the body. And he knocks him down with a thudding blow to the midsection.
6, 7, 8.
Kinoshita back up here in round 7. He waves it off. He cannot continue. It is waved off. One single body blow, and the champ retains his belt. What a job by Ancajas.
reason why the ref stopped that. When he got up, he wanted to continue, but he looked at the eye, the condition of the eye, and the referee said no.
You can't say it.
Set up that attack real well, did Ancajas. He went upstairs, and then he went off to the side. He found the opening with that right hook from the southpaw position, right around the elbow where there was no protection, no guard. A wide open hole that he filled with a right hook. And as I said, I think the referee, when he saw the face...
And at 53 seconds, round number 7, the winner by TKO victory, still the IBF